GLP-1 medications can help us to eat less and feel full longer. But can they help us when it comes to emotional eating? Could emotional eating be slowing down your weight loss on a GLP-1 medication like Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro, or Zepbound? Today we're diving into some new research on weight loss drugs and emotional eating. If you've ever struggled with overeating, especially during stressful or emotional times, then you know it's not just about hunger. It's about the way food can become a comfort. But what happens when you're on a GLP-1 medication like Wegovy or Zepbound and you're faced with a stressful situation? How do you handle it? This is the complex issue of emotional eating. Today we're going to explore that very topic. Hi everyone, I'm Laraine Durham and welcome to the Downsized, where we share the real struggles and wins of weight loss with GLP-1 medications. I started in September of 2023 and lost 50 pounds with tirzepatide. I'm now on maintenance and still take my weekly shot. Even though I'm still on a GLP-1, sometimes I want to eat when I'm stressed, upset, or even happy. When certain life events happen, my first thoughts are of food. I am definitely an emotional eater, which is why I wanted to explore this topic a little further. Before we dive in, here's a quick reminder: I'm not a doctor. Always consult your doctor or healthcare provider before starting any new medication or treatment plan. And of course, I hope that you will like this video and subscribe to our channel, The Downsized. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC, reports that 40% of U.S. adults are living with obesity. Obesity is a chronic, progressive disease as defined by the American Medical Association. We know that obesity can raise a person's risk of developing a variety of health conditions. Those include heart disease, type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, gallbladder disease, fatty liver disease, and sleep apnea, to name a few. We now have GLP-1 medications like Wegovy and Zepbound to treat the disease of obesity. These drugs can help with food noise and hunger, but what if you're eating out of emotional reasons? This is called emotional eating. So, what is emotional eating? Why is it a problem? Emotional eating is when people eat in response to their emotions rather than physical hunger. It typically occurs as a way to cope with stress, sadness, boredom, anxiety, or even happiness. Instead of eating because you're hungry, emotional eating is driven by the need to feel better or escape from negative feelings. When I'm sad, I want a cookie. When we're celebrating, I want cake. When I'm bored, I want chips. When I'm stressed out, I want all the food. And then after I eat the food, I feel bad about eating the food and guilty that I've now slowed my progress. This guilt can often lead to eating even more food. Sound familiar? It's important to differentiate between emotional eating and physical hunger. Physical hunger gradually builds and can be satisfied with any food. My Weight Watchers leader used to say, if you're truly hungry, you would eat a can of green beans. Emotional hunger is sudden and specific, and you often feel a craving for certain comfort foods. Weight loss drugs are not as effective when used by people with eating habits that are tied to emotions, such as depression or anxiety, according to a new study. On September 16th, researchers published a study in Frontiers in Clinical Diabetes and Healthcare that talks about the effectiveness of GLP-1 medications and emotional eating. Let's start by talking about the basic findings of the study. Researchers found that GLP-1 medications, which include Ozempic and Wegovy, are more effective for weight loss in people whose overeating is driven by external factors, like the smell or appearance of food. However, these drugs weren't as successful for people who overeat due to emotional triggers like stress, depression, or anxiety. Let me say that again. Weight loss drugs are not as effective when used by people with eating habits that are tied to emotions such as depression or anxiety. This is crucial because emotional eating is something many of us struggle with. Food can provide a temporary escape or comfort when we're dealing with negative emotions, and that behavior can make it difficult to lose weight even when taking medication. Depression itself may also trigger overeating as a coping mechanism. The study, conducted in Japan, followed 92 people with type 2 diabetes who began treatment with GLP-1 medications. They were monitored for 1 year. While most participants showed a decrease in body weight, body fat, and improved blood glucose levels, those who had external eating habits saw the most significant and sustained changes. Here's where it gets interesting. Those who struggled with emotional eating didn't see the same weight loss benefits long term. They started to return to their old eating patterns after the year-long treatment. This suggests that the underlying emotional issues like stress, anxiety, or depression weren't fully addressed, and that played a significant role in the outcome. Healthcare professionals who reviewed this study agree that it's important to look at the root causes of overeating before jumping into medication or surgery. Dr. Mir Ali, a bariatric surgeon, explains it well when he says it's not just about overeating. We need to address underlying issues first. Now, what does that mean for people struggling with emotional eating? It's not just about suppressing hunger. Emotional eating isn't always driven by physical hunger. It's about using food as a coping mechanism. So medications like GLP-1s, which work by reducing hunger signals, might not be the most effective solution if the issue is emotional. According to Dr. Ali, suppressing hunger won't necessarily fix the emotional triggers. This is so important because if you've ever eaten out of stress, boredom, or sadness, you know it's not about hunger, it's about comfort. And unless we deal with those emotions directly, the cycle can keep repeating, even with the help of medication. On that note, let's talk about some ways to approach emotional eating from a mental and emotional perspective. Kristen Kirkpatrick, a registered dietitian, emphasizes that emotional eating often involves a person's relationship with food. Many times, comfort foods are high in sugar and fat, offering a temporary sense of relief, but the effects are short-lived, leading to a cycle of overeating, guilt, and feeling worse. Kirkpatrick suggests that people with emotional eating can be helped by developing more mindful, intuitive eating habits. This means understanding why we eat and learning to differentiate between emotional hunger and physical hunger. Emotional eating is a complex issue, but here are 9 effective strategies to manage it and build a healthier relationship with food. Number 1 is identify your triggers. Start by noticing what emotions or situations drive you to eat when you're not physically hungry. Common triggers can include stress, boredom, loneliness, sadness, anxiety, or fatigue. Use a journal or a food and mood tracker to connect your emotions with your eating habits. Write down how you're feeling before you eat something. Number 2 is to practice mindful eating. Mindful eating helps you become present and intentional when eating. Eat slowly and without distractions, like your phone or the TV. At Weight Watchers, they always told us only to eat while sitting down and to focus on what we were eating. This means no grazing while standing up looking through the pantry. Pay attention to taste, texture, hunger, and fullness cues. Ask yourself, am I actually hungry? Or is there something else going on? Stop and check in with yourself and assess your hunger level. Number 3 is find non-food ways to cope. Replace emotional eating with other self-soothing techniques. Go for a walk or a stretch. Call a friend or journal your thoughts. Listen to calming music or meditate. Take a warm shower or do some deep breathing exercises. Number 4 is build a balanced, nourishing diet. Sometimes emotional eating is worse when you're not eating enough calories. Try what registered dietitian Gianna Beasley calls strategic eating. Plan small meals and snacks through the day that hit your protein and calorie targets. Make sure to also include fruits and vegetables and healthy fats. Number 5 is allow all foods without feeling guilty. Restricting certain foods often backfires and leads to binging or guilt. I personally never liked keto because I love bread. Every time I tried to do keto, all I could think about was bread and how I couldn't eat it. Practice an all foods fit mindset with GLP-1s. No food is off limits forever. If you tell me I can never eat a cookie, of course I'm going to want all the cookies, which could lead to a binge and then feeling guilty afterwards. Instead of labeling foods as good or bad, think of them as choices with different effects on your body and mood. Some foods nourish your body more than others. The goal should be to maintain a balanced diet of whole foods about 80% of the time. That means we can still include that cookie every once in a while. And while no food is off limits, it's best to try to avoid temptation. If you know that you're prone to binging after a long day, don't bring those less nourishing choices into your house. If it's not in the house, you can't eat it in a moment of stress or exhaustion. Number 6 is build emotional awareness. Develop tools to process emotions without turning to food. Try therapy, especially CBT or cognitive behavioral therapy. Check with your insurance company to see what coverage that you may have. You can use a mindfulness app like Headspace or Calm. Look in the App Store for one that fits your budget. Keep a mood journal to better understand your emotional landscape. Writing down your thoughts and feelings can help you pinpoint the problem that you're trying to solve. And number 7 is seek professional support. If emotional eating feels overwhelming, consider working with a registered dietitian, especially one trained in intuitive eating. I met with one not too long ago, and it was like a personal coaching session. A therapist or counselor with experience in emotional regulation or disordered eating. A support group, even online ones, can help you. You can join our Facebook group, The Downsized Adventure with Laraine and Christopher. We have about 2,000 people in this group, and of course you can subscribe to this channel, The Downsized. We have 30,000 subscribers who might feel exactly like you do. Number 8 is create an emotional emergency kit. Have a list of healthy distractions or activities ready to go when cravings hit. Some examples are a walk outside, or even just a quick walk around your house can help. A 5-minute guided meditation. There are lots of these available online. You can call a friend, drink a glass of water or herbal tea. You know, hydration is really so important, and you might actually be thirsty. Number 9 is sleep, stress, and self-care. Lack of sleep and chronic stress often worsen emotional eating. Prioritize 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep. When we're tired, our hormones tell us to eat more. Practice stress-reducing habits like breath work, yoga, or hobbies. Make time for things that bring you joy, besides eating, of course. And here's a bonus strategy, number 10. Be kind to yourself. Most importantly, remember, emotional eating isn't a failure. It's a signal that it might be time for some self-care. Replace judgment with curiosity and compassion. Healing your relationship with food takes time, and that's okay. Now, before we wrap up, I want to mention that obesity is a chronic, progressive disease, as defined by the American Medical Association. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention reports that 40% of U.S. adults are living with obesity, which puts them at risk for a number of chronic diseases. So while weight loss medications can be an effective tool, they are most helpful when combined with a balanced diet, regular exercise, and better sleep habits. Addressing the psychological factors that contribute to weight gain is also crucial, because it's not just about the food, it's about the reasons behind how we eat. Well, that's all for today's episode. If you've learned something new, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to The Downsized so you don't miss out on future episodes. And if you've been on GLP-1 medication and struggled with emotional eating, I'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share your best strategies for coping with emotional eating. Remember, everyone's journey is different, and the more we understand our eating habits, the better equipped we are to make lasting changes. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next episode. I'm Laraine Durham for The Downsized.